I just watched a CNN segment on a new app called Ice Block, and it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where ICE agents are. Given the recent rise...
An app that tells people where ICE agents are?
Yes. And given the rise, I believe, 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of further violence against our ICE officers. As you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
Boy. So we got to talk about the latest bombshell press conference that was held by law enforcement debunking the far-left BlueAnon conspiracy theories being peddled in the mainstream liberal media, who are currently claiming that we do not know the motive behind the shooting that took place at an ICE facility in Dallas, where you had some far-left lunatic decide to target ICE agents, but ended up committing friendly fire by shooting illegal immigrants instead, okay, while they were being transported in an unmarked vehicle. And at this point, the liberal media has went into full-blown cope, okay, in denial, just like they did with Charlie Kirk.
It's not entirely clear at all what his specific motive was. We haven't heard it from him. But that is not stopping the political fight over what he believes.
There's a lot we don't know yet about this suspect and what his motive truly was.
We don't know very much about his ideology.
We don't know what the motive is yet.
There is no motive as of yet.
The initial reaction of so many people is to try to prove that this killer was a left-winger.
Candidly, there's been too much discussion from politicians getting ahead of this subject and speculating about left-wing ideologies and that sort of thing.
Many prominent right-wing voices blaming the political left for something that, frankly, the investigation is still very much in its early stages. There's a lot we don't know.
They took to social media very quickly, trying to ascribe motive and intent.
For the vice president to say he knows who did it and the motivation, I don't even think law enforcement has said that there was a specific motivation behind it. So this is really dangerous.
Yeah, except law enforcement did in fact tell us what the motivations were behind the assassination of Charlie Kirk, okay? And the liberal media, they're playing the same exact game with this shooter, the ICE shooter, and they're claiming that we don't know what the motive is, even though anti-ICE was written on the bullet casings, and we definitely know what the motive was.
Deadly sniper attack in Dallas. One detainee was killed, 2 others were injured, and we still do not know their names, but we are told that one of the people shot was a Mexican national. There's also some new detail coming out about the shooter, the gunman. Authorities say he took his own life at the scene. We're told he was 29 years old. This is an old mugshot of the gunman, identified by CNN sources. A motive still being investigated. FBI Director Kash Patel did put out this photo, though. You see it here. This is he says that it shows a bullet casing left at the scene with the words anti-ICE scrawled on it. Again, they are still investigating why that man carried out this attack. President Trump, though, quick to label it the work of quote-unquote radical left terrorists.
Bullet recovered from the scene was inscribed with the words anti-ICE. Investigators are still searching for a motive, but what does that tell you potentially about the investigation?
Well, it certainly says that it may point to motive, but I would not jump to any conclusions just yet.
And Rosa, the shooter's brother is speaking out. What's he saying? You know, he's giving us a sense of his brother, how he grew up. He said that they grew up about 30 miles from Dallas in Allen, Texas, that he was a Boy Scout, and he described him as, quote, unique. And he said that he wasn't very interested in politics, either the right side or the left, or in any which way, really, which is interesting considering the details that the FBI has already released regarding this case.
The Department of Homeland Security confirmed that no members of law enforcement were injured in the attack. Yet they're trying to frame this as an attack on ICE workers when it was not.
Must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and for their families. So immediately jumps to, oh, an ICE facility was attacked. That means you were attacking the ICE officers. Bullshit. Not true. Didn't happen. That's a fact. Anti-ICE. Doesn't say fuck ICE. Doesn't say abolish ICE. Doesn't say anything that, like, you know, the phrases that are actually used on the left. Fuck ICE, abolish ICE. No, it says anti-ICE. And it appears to be written in marker, and it appears to be fucking raining where the bullets were found. I got a fucking bridge to sell you if you believe this crap. I got a fucking bridge to sell you. Bro, this is the same shit as immediately trying to blame trans people after the Charlie Kirk shooting. They tried so hard, it's gotta be a trans person, blame the trans people. And then when they couldn't, Antifa, so blame Antifa, something. Somebody on the left, please, please. And now look at this. A shooting in an ICE facility that specifically targeted immigrants. 3 of them now dead. 3 immigrants dead. And they're going, oh, this was anti-ICE agent shooter. See, it says anti-ICE on the bullets. Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro, you literally can't believe anything that comes out of this regime. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. It's all biased. It's all political narrative claptrap shit. This is incredible to me. It's incredible to me. Our institutions are fucking useless now. I mean, literally the plain evidence right in front of our eyes says it all. The immigrants were murdered. So if anything, this is somebody who looks at ICE and goes, you're not enough of a Gestapo. You should be more Nazi-ish. You should be more fascist. You should be mass executing these immigrants. If anything, that's the political message. Now, it's possible that it's just a totally, like, mentally ill person who, you know, whatever, did it. But it's also possible, no, this is highly political. And the political point of view is, oh my goodness, the Trump regime isn't fascist enough. They need to be more fascist. Here, let me help you out by murking the brown people.
Wow. Wow. This is the second time BlueAnon has stunned me with their far left mental gymnastics, their conspiracy theories to deflect blame and responsibility away from themselves. Okay, the same people who constantly demonize ICE every single day as Gestapo, Nazis, you know, et cetera, right? They're disappearing people, okay? Yeah, these people are basically saying that, you know what, don't believe your eyes, right? Don't believe the evidence right in front of our face, which is that the bullet casings had anti-ICE inscribed on the message. No, that's a psyop, right? That's a psyop, okay? You don't understand. You can't believe anything that the government says, right? This is an attack on illegal immigrants, right? So therefore, it could not have been a far leftist, except they clearly didn't read the story, right? They clearly did not read the part where it says that the shooter shot in an unmarked van. So the shooter did not know what he was shooting at. He was just shooting at something, hoping that he would target ICE agents. But instead, he committed friendly fire, okay? He killed the people he was trying to protect. But no, according to Kyle Kuklinski, okay, you don't understand. It is actually likely that this guy was far right, right? Far right, okay? Targeted an ICE facility, he was far right because he thinks that ICE is not Gestapo enough, right? ICE is not far right or Nazi enough, okay? That's the theory, okay? Again, this is the same exact conspiracy theory that he put out there about Charlie Kirk's assassin. No, he's a far right groiper, right? Not far right enough, right? Now, we know how that conspiracy theory turned out for Kyle Kuklinski, right? We know how he reacted when he found out that he was wrong about that one, right? In fact, this dude believes there's zero chance that this ICE shooter was far left. No. He was either far right or mentally ill, right? There's no possibility that he was far left, even though clearly, based off the evidence, he was far left, okay? And once again, BlueAnon and the liberal media, they're going to have to do more mental gymnastics to explain away more proof that this guy was in fact far left, because federal investigators have come out and they've given us more details about the motivations behind this individual. And he was in fact targeting ICE agents. He was not targeting the illegals. He shot the illegals on accident, and that has been confirmed by law enforcement because this guy left more notes with details about what happened or why he did it.
Initially, I want to commend the cooperation of the Dallas Police Department, the Dallas County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, the ATF, ICE, and HSI for their swift and decisive response to this crime. Members of these agencies quickly secured the scene and the evidence and worked tirelessly to determine any continuing threat. Due to their efforts, it did not take long to ascertain the identity of the shooter, who was deceased by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. FBI agents executed a search warrant at the sniper's residence yesterday and there found a collection of notes. First, I want to point out that one of these notes or papers, the sniper explicitly states, "Yes, it was just me." That statement appears to be correct at this point in the investigation. Notably, these loose notes included a game plan of the attack and target areas at the facility. He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck. He wrote that he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility. He hoped to minimize any collateral damage or injury to the detainees and any other innocent people. It seems that he did not intend to kill the detainees or harm them. It's clear from these notes that he was targeting ICE agents and ICE personnel. The tragic irony for his evil plot here is that it was a detainee who was killed and 2 other detainees that were injured when he fired into the Sally Port. He also hoped his actions would give ICE agents real terror of being gunned down, and he did this to induce constant stress in their lives. He hoped his actions would terrorize ICE employees and interfere with their work, which he called human trafficking. And this, what he did, is the very definition of terrorism. Again, his notes reveal, yes, it was just me and my brain. And he said, good luck with the digital footprint. And of course, we take this to mean that he deleted evidence from his devices. His words were definitively anti-ICE. That said, we did not find evidence of membership in any specific group or entity, nor did he mention any specific government agency other than ICE. Among his papers, though, was a handwritten note in which, in crude words, he expressed his hatred for the federal government. Finally, I want to address the heroism of our federal agents yesterday. While under fire, ICE agents and ATF agents, who were also present in the facility's Sally Port area, worked together to remove detainees from the vans and get them to safety while the bullets were flying. Wow. These agents were heroic, clearly willing to lay down their lives to save the lives of the detainees in their custody. And that's an extremely important point to make at this point in time. I want to express my deepest appreciation for the bravery of these law enforcement officers yesterday and every single day that they go out there to keep us safe.
Yeah.
I'll now turn.
So you seen that, you heard that. Once again, BlueAnon is in shambles. Once again, they're in shambles. Just like with Charlie Kirk. But the reality is that it doesn't matter how much evidence comes out. Proof. We're not talking about evidence. We're talking about proof, right? This is proof territory, okay? We have proof, okay? We have proof that the Charlie Kirk assassin was far left. BlueAnon continues to deny it, right? Doesn't matter what the federal government says. It doesn't matter all of the evidence, right? Doesn't matter how much overwhelming proof we have that the far left shooter was in fact far left, they're going to deny it. Same thing happening right here. These people came out and pushed a BlueAnon conspiracy theory that is being peddled in the mainstream of media the same way they peddled it when it came to Charlie Kirk, right? That we don't know the motivations, right? It could possibly be far right. They could be targeted. They were targeting the illegals, even though, again, if you read the story from the beginning, you would know why the illegals were shot. It's not because they were targets. It was friendly fire, okay? This guy clearly was not a pro, right, in terms of what he was doing, okay? He was an amateur, okay? And that explains why the illegals were killed, okay? That explains that. But for whatever reason, BlueAnon didn't read the story, right? They are so caught up in trying to push their lies, to brainwash their audience, to mislead their audience, that they leave out that important part and they pretend as if that somehow, some way, you have a far right anti-ICE shooter, right? He didn't think that ICE was Gestapo enough. Really? Really? Now again, I'm very curious to see how Cal Kuklinski is going to spin this one, right? How are you going to spin this guy leaving notes talking about how much he hated ICE? Okay? How are you going to do that? Okay? How are you going to spin that? Saying they're collecting a dirty paycheck. How are you going to spin that? It's going to be fascinating. I think what they're going to say is that, well, we just don't believe it, right? We just don't believe what the government says, right? It's the Trump administration. They just can't be believed, right? That's what they're going to say. Because, again, they're not going to admit it. Because admitting it means that they're responsible. They're culpable, right? Which means they have to stop calling ICE Gestapo, which Cal Kuklinski has not stopped doing, right? He's going to continue to do it because he doesn't give a damn about how many people die. He doesn't give a damn about law enforcement losing their lives. He doesn't give a damn about conservative activists losing their lives. They don't care because these people explicitly believe in violence, right? And they're also self-reportedly mentally ill, okay? So, again, like I said, a lot of these individuals, again, they are responsible. And we know this because ICE came out here and they gave a press conference where they talked about how this shooter apparently used the anti-ICE tracking apps that these leftists have been making, that's been promoted on social media platforms like CNN in order to track ICE. Take a look.
The Trump administration steps up ICE raids and mass deportations. One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called ICE Block, and it's controversial to say the least. CNN's Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map to report an ICE sighting in their area, and then everybody who uses the platform within 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump, but Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
Charles, I am the ICE Executive Associate Director for Enforcement and Removal Operations. The attack on ICE's Dallas field office yesterday was tragic. And while our hearts and prayers are with the family of the detainees who were shot, the evidence is clear that this was intended as an assault on ICE personnel who come to work every day to do their job. Violent rhetoric has led to over 1,000% increase in assaults on ICE officers, and it has to stop. In contrast to those who would demonize our men and women, yesterday our brave officers ran back into danger, along with ATF, our partners, to save the detainees while shots were still being fired. Those ICE officers just showed the world who they really are. Law enforcement officers who want the best for our country. That's ICE. Integrity, courage, excellence. They were willing to put their lives on the line to pull detainees out of the transport van to get them to safety. They are heroes, and I hope the media has the integrity to shine a light on this story. Enough is enough with the harmful lies and violent rhetoric. It has to stop. The shooter used the ICE tracking apps. Anyone who creates or distributes these apps that is designed to spot, track, and locate ICE officers are well aware of the dangers that they are exposing to law enforcement. It's a casting call to invite bad actors to attack law enforcement officers. It's no different than giving a hitman the location of their intended target, and this is exactly what we saw happen in Dallas yesterday. The media has been amplifying these apps even as we warned them it would only lead to more attacks on law enforcement. We truly wish we didn't have to say, "I told you so," but here we are.
Yeah, I don't want to have to say "I told you so" either, right? But what you have here is BlueAnon and the mainstream liberal media complicit in what happened, and they're in full-blown denial about it, right? They're just denying that their rhetoric had anything to do with it. They're denying that this guy was even, left-wing at all. Okay, they're pushing conspiracy theories because they know that if they admit that he was left-wing, then they have to stop with the rhetoric. And they don't want to stop with the rhetoric, right? They don't care about who dies, okay? They don't care at all. They just want to protect illegal immigrants at all costs. And they'll smear ICE, even though ICE, they went out of their way to try to save the illegals that were shot, right? Try to save them, right? But they're Nazi, they're Gestapo, they're terrible people, right? Apparently not, right? Apparently they wanted to save the lives of these illegals, right? So, again, man, it's kind of funny to me, but it's also not, because at the same time, this is very dangerous, right? And it's at the point now where this is so out of control that it's really starting to frustrate me, right? And that's why I laugh, because laughing keeps me from getting angry about this, right? I'm actually really angry about the fact these people go on national television. They get on their huge platforms with millions of followers and with a straight face will lie and mislead their audience in order to cover up for the fact that one of their own, okay, committed an act of domestic terror. That one of their own assassinated Charlie Kirk, assassinated a conservative civil rights icon. And in order to deflect blame, to not take any accountability or responsibility for it, they lie. They lie. And I just don't understand how you can do that, right? How can you do that and live with yourself when you're knowingly lying to your audience? It's crazy to me. But then again, like I said, man, a lot of these people are afraid of the audience, right? The thing that these people hate the most, right? A leftist hates the truth, okay? Conservatives hate being lied to. Liberals hate being told the truth. And that's the difference, right? That's what we're dealing with at this point. So, again, we're going to see how BlueAnon responds to this. My gut feeling is that they're going to continue to be in full-blown denial about what happened here. But I think that common sense Americans, everyday people, can see exactly what happened and why this happened. And the more that they continue to gaslight the American people, the more that the American people reject this far left extremism that is happening in this country. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.